Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so, love you. See you soon. Bye.
Hello, and welcome to another Plus 10 Looks with Jamison, your favorite Plus 10 damage writer. I am here today to show you Gone Home, as you can see. It is a hot new indie game that people have been talking about with a lot of praise. Yes, praise would be the word, yes, if I could say that properly. Anyway, it came out on August 15th and it's a mere $20. Yeah, I say mere $20, like $20 for an indie game is all that cheap, but you know what? It's worth it, which you will see in a second. Anyway, it is a point-and-click game where you play as our protagonist here, known as Katie Greenbriar, a 20-something-year-old who's come home from a long trip in Europe to find her family home abandoned. So, gameplay is fairly simple. As you can see, the first puzzle here is finding out how to unlock this damn door. How would you go about unlocking a door? And where would the key be? Well, what better place to keep a key than up a Christmas duck's ass? So yes, let's walk on in here. Creepy lighting. So, it's not really a horror game, but it definitely gives you this unsettling feeling. And there are some nice touches to the setting, which I'll show you later. But anyway, here we have one of the many ways this story is conveyed through notes and documents that are just laid about this house because apparently this family hasn't heard of the NSA scandals recently. So their privacy is just, they don't care about it for some reason. Bad jokes aside, as you can see here from context clues, Sam, probably Katie's sister. But let's walk on in and explore the house a little bit. And we'll take a look at this creepy, well, assume this is a photo of the family and their creepy smiles that all look the same, and it's rather unsettling. So we have Katie here, our protagonist, Sam, her sister, and Mom and Dad. So yes, much of this game is, conveyed through notes and documents and messages and all these random little things laid about the house. It creates for an interesting way to tell a story, and you would think this isn't a fun way to play a game, just walking about picking things up, but it's actually quite entertaining. And it's a really interesting way of conveying a story, but at the same time having sort of addictive gameplay, because you end up being so interested in these characters that you want to pick up everything and find out as much about them as possible. So let's explore a little bit. As you can see, another one of these sort of creepy, unsettling areas. Let's turn on the lights. The lights flicker a lot in this house. It's supposed to be an old house with a not so happy history, which I'll show right now. That not so happy history includes the former owner, Oscar, who is now dead. You can see from his obituary. Oscar didn't exactly have the most pleasant life, so you find out more and more about it as you explore the house. A lot of the, none of this info you have to find to get through the game, but it's optional, and it's interesting because of that. It rewards you for taking your time and exploring as much as possible. Like, right here, it's just, what's this picture? It's obviously not of someone who's from the family, because their last name is DeSoto, but you find out more about these characters and who they are and what they mean to the family, and apparently this picture is jamming the drawer. There we go. Anyway, so So you don't get to see much of Katie's personality. These postcards are what really flesh her out, but it's only to a minimal degree. Because I feel like the developers really wanted you to feel like you were Katie, and they wanted to put you in her shoes as you were exploring this house and make you feel like, oh, what's going on to my family? Why aren't they home in the middle of the night? You know, did something happen? Are they okay? Another interesting way to convey the story is through these journals, which you will see in 1 second. It's not these high school paper things about, well, as you can see here, Sam is attending a new high school and she needs to bring all these things. But it's a nice little way to flesh out the characters and the environment.
Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school, and there I am, introducing myself to the class. And I say that I just moved into the house on Arbor Hill. All of a sudden, every kid in the room turns and just stares like I suddenly transformed into a mutant. I just stood there, wishing pretty hard for a rewind button. Because now maybe nobody knows my name, but they all know who I am. The Psycho House girl. Great.
So yeah, that is probably one of the more interesting features, that they tell a story. Much of the story is focused on Sam. She's really the main character, and she's the fuel to the fire behind the story here, which you peel back bit by bit and learn more about her and why the house is abandoned, where your family went. But not to get into spoiler territory, because frankly that's what this game is all about. It's about finding out what happened to your family, and just it becomes a very interesting and personal story, and you really get the feel for the characters. And to use one of David Cage's favorite words, it's very emotional. There are a lot of emotions to this emotional family, because of emotions, emotions, emotions. But anyway, this is probably another, well, let's show off another interesting thing here. As you might have noticed when the game first started, it's set during 1995, so we have a lot of references and little touches that make this feel like it's really a part of, you know, a 1990s house. You have VHSs lying about. You have references to TV shows like The X-Files, for example, one of my favorites from the 90s. And if you're like me, you're going to get nostalgic over this. And it's a rather interesting touch that they did all that. And you know, there's cassette tapes as well that play some 90s punk. But they do a really good job of focusing on the environment, making it feel like it's lived in and real, and these bastards didn't leave me any pizza. What the hell? A little bit more about Sam's character here. Apparently she's not making friends very easily at her new high school.
You know that feeling where the
Oh,
first
another one of
moment
those
you see
journals.
someone, it's like they have a big gold star around them, and you have to get to know them. Well, there's this girl. I think she's a senior.
More documents.
She's usually dressed kind of punk, but sometimes I see her in this, like, army uniform. She's always drawing in this notebook, looking so intense. I had no idea how I would ever, like, have an excuse to talk to her. Till I noticed she and her friends hang out and play Street Fighter at the 7-Eleven every day after school.
So yeah, references to classic games like Street Fighter are made. I'll show you another little interesting bit. There's a lot to explore in this game, and I missed out on several things in my first playthrough. Not because I was careless or rushing through, just because there's so much to the game. I mean, it's a 2-hour game, but for 2 hours and you being confined to this house alone, there's a lot to look at and a lot to take in. Some more references, as you can see here. The X-Files, they circled that, and for good reason. Full House. Good thing they didn't record that. So the gameplay is very basic, as I mentioned. You know, you just wander around the house at your own pace, looking at things, picking them up, analyzing, trying to figure out what's going on. And there's locked doors. Show you the basic menu system here. You have your map. As you go into different rooms, they become, well, they appear on your map. This little area is where I'm at right now. It's why it's highlighted, and then you have items. As you can see, I picked up the key from under the Christmas duck before, now it's in my items. And there's some other things like her passport and ID that are just kind of, you know, just small touches. And you could always revisit the journals that Sam wrote, and you can listen to them again just in case you didn't pay attention for the first time because you're an idiot. Well, there's a lot of stuff just lying about like this because, once again, they're very careless. But I don't want to explore too much more. I'll just show you one last room, just so you really get the sense of things. Slowly walk up the stairs here. You can't run in this game. It's nice, actually. It's a good design choice once you think about it. You don't want to be running through. It would ruin the atmosphere and the pacing, really, if you're able to run about. That makes sense that you're, you know, who the hell just runs about their house in the middle of the day? I know I sure do. Maybe because I'm lazy, but that's besides the point. Okay, one last thing to show off. Sam's room here. As you can see, she's got the typical sign on her door like any teenager. And her room is a mess. Stuff lying about. It looks lived in, and that's another interesting thing about this game, is that they do a good job of detailing the environment and level design. And they also add plenty of references everywhere. Some Twin Peaks actresses right there. The poster from Mulder's office in the X-Files. A Super NES cartridge. The Adventurous the Cat returns. I wonder how the first one was. Some more NES cartridges. But yeah, this is the gist of the game. It is wander about, find out about this family, and just really get a sense of, you know, what went down. And it goes some interesting places. It goes to a topic that is rather appropriate for our time right now. You know, political things and whatnot. I won't get into it because it would spoil it, but it's a serious topic that not a lot of games have talked about, and it's rather good because of it, and it feels unique, and to use that word again, it's quite the emotional story, and you feel attached to these characters. And as far as, you know, every year there seems to be like at least 2 or 3 great indie games come out that you just have to play. This is one of those for 2013. If I haven't convinced you already to play, go read David's review. He loved it as well. And yeah, that's the gist of Gone Home. I've been Jamison. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little look into a fine little indie game. And thank you for watching. Be sure to leave comments, whatever you want to do. I want to know what you think of my terrible videos, because they're surely not as good as everyone else's. But anyway, once again, goodbye. Have a lovely day, everyone.